Senator Kamala Harris making history last night, becoming the first woman of color to formally accept the Democratic nomination for Vice President of the United States. In her speech, delivered live from Joe Biden's hometown of Wilmington, Delaware, Senator Harris shared parts of her own personal story, took aim at President Trump, and called on Americans to fight for the country's future.
My mother instilled in my sister Maya and me the values that would chart the course of our lives. She raised us to be proud, strong Black women, and she raised us to know and be proud of our Indian heritage. She taught us to put family first, the family you're born into and the family you choose. I have fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. I fought against transnational criminal organizations. I took on the biggest banks and helped take down one of the biggest for-profit colleges. I know a predator when I see one. Donald Trump's failure of leadership has cost lives and livelihoods. If you're a parent struggling with your child's remote learning, or you're a teacher struggling on the other side of that screen, you know what we're doing right now is not working. So we're at an inflection point. The constant chaos leaves us adrift. The incompetence makes us feel afraid. The callousness makes us feel alone. It's a lot. And here's the thing. We can do better and deserve so much more. Right now, we have a president who turns our tragedies into political weapons. Joe will be a president who turns our challenges into purpose. Joe and I believe that we can build that beloved community, one that is strong and decent, just and kind, one in which we can all see ourselves.
Shauna Thomas, I'll let you dig into Kamala Harris's effectiveness prosecuting the case against Donald Trump, which she began to do for the first time as the nominee last night. But just a moment to pause and look at that image to see a woman of color, an African-American woman, a woman of Indian descent, a daughter of immigrants, standing there as the nominee in the United States of America of a major political party to become vice president. What did that image mean to you? What does that image mean for the country?
I mean, it represents so much. She can represent so much for so many different types of people. I think that word, representation, I think I've talked about this on the show before, but this idea that there is a possibility that someone with darker skin, with experiences that no vice president before, no vice presidential candidate before has had, can be in the room with the president of the United States and start making decisions with some of that life behind her is a pretty heady thing, and it's one of the examples of what can make America actually great. But I also was struck by how much of her bio that she needed to talk about. I looked back at the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, and there were 13% of the registered voters in that poll who either didn't know who Kamala Harris was or hadn't formed some kind of opinion, positive or negative. 13% actually in this election is a big deal. And so I think she did an admirable job of reintroducing herself to people. I think she did an admirable job of showing how she's not only of Indian descent and she's not only Black, but she comes from a blended family. She struck all these different tones that can bring people in. Now, it remains to be seen, and historically, vice presidential picks aren't exactly what people vote on, but because of that level of representation and because this was a historic night last night, there is a possibility that she introduced herself to a lot of people and made them feel like maybe they're in the room for when decisions get made.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.